And now you're gonna kill me or something?
No, I never planned on killing you. But why did you have to be such a fucking bitch?
When was the last time you were afraid? Really afraid?
Are you gonna try to leave?
Yes!
I knew it.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Heavy Leather Horror Show podcast, your weekly guide to all things horror from the heart of which city? Salem, Massachusetts.
So lucky to be young and in love and in Salem.
We sure are. I'm your old pal Ken, a.k.a. Rock and Roll Rider, Sleaze Grinder, and there she is, everybody. It's Salem's greatest hauntress. It's Kelly Kapow.
Hi.
Let's fucking party.
Kelly hasn't scared people in months.
I've been scaring Jared.
Besides Jared.
I told Jared he better watch out because if haunt season is not a go this year, which I don't think it is going to be for me, I'm going to be dressing up just to scare him in this apartment.
Right. Every day will be Halloween when Jared walks in the door.
He opens the closet. She jumps out.
Jesus. Good luck, buddy. Good luck, Jared. R.I.P. Also, there he is, everybody. It's Rui, the 16-year-old intern.
I was a teenage werewolf. Fantastic. Bewildering.
If you were a teenage werewolf, just give us what that might sound like.
My teeth.
Also, producing the show tonight, horror show director Stacey Dawn.
No one messes with Stacey and lives.
And there she is, everybody. Our most famous friend, Survivor Lurser, is here.
Hey, guys.
Oh, look at her.
She sounds so excited to be here.
I'm still waking up.
Wait, what time is it? It's noon.
Yeah, it's noon.
I woke up like 20 minutes ago.
We're recording the podcast an hour early because poor Rui has to go back to work today.
Yeah.
He's got to go sell cheese and coffee.
Fancy cheese and fancy coffee.
Yep.
Well, at least I get to live off the scraps of the upper class.
Yeah,
it's going to be like that for the rest of your life, buddy.
Exactly, buddy. Get used to that.
Was.
Hey, wow. Stace, it sounds like the bats are in the belfry. Oh, yeah, there they are. The monsters. They're chained up down in the dungeon. I believe I might hear the wolves howling. Yes. And the winds slashing at the house. And that can only mean one thing. It's time to start the show. This week and every week, we'll have a little horror news. We'll be talking about some horror movies that we've seen lately, and we'll be reviewing a film together. This week, it's 2019's Homewrecker. But I'm sorry, everybody, before we get to that, it's time for the Week in Death. Stace, it's time for the Week in Death.
I know.
Don't laugh about it.
Thank you. There we go. Some notable people who died this week. Different years, of course. Hey, everybody. Bruce Lee, the greatest martial artist of all time.
Oh.
Died this week, 1973, age 32, from cerebral edema. Although, it's still controversial. Nobody really knows how exactly he died, but we just know he died. Hey, Tammy Faye Baker, disgraced co-host of the PTL Club. Remember her, Stace?
Yep.
The eye makeup?
Yeah.
People don't remember Tammy Faye.
Wait, was she that Christian woman?
Yep.
She was also on The Surreal Life. Remember that?
She was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead of lung cancer in 2007 at age 65.
Well, she's in the Lord's house now.
She sure is.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I don't know, man. They fleeced a lot of people for a lot of money, so I don't know where she went.
I think I do.
Hey, Chester Bennington, lead singer of Linkin Park. Dead by suicide.
Oh, God.
2017,
that's so sad.
age 41. John Dillinger, notorious American bank robber, shot dead, age 31, by federal agents at the Golden Girls Biograph Theater in Chicago in 1934.
Man, went out blazing.
Wait a minute, I messed that up.
You said Golden Girls Theater, and I was like, wow.
It was at the Biograph Theater. But also this week. But also
imagine him getting gunned down in front of the Golden Girls.
No. It was just at the Biograph Theater. But also this week, Estelle Getty of the Golden Girls.
Oh, okay.
American actress. She died of what's called Lewy body disease, whatever that is, whatever that might be. Sounds awful. At age 84 in 2008. So if I remember correctly, Stacy, Estelle Getty was supposed to be the mom of B. Arthur, but was actually the same age as everybody else.
Right.
They just they made her look older.
Yeah.
I think she was a year younger than B. Arthur, and on the end of the first season, she got a facelift, so they had to add makeup to her to hold her glass because she got a fucking facelift.
If you're flying high, making millions of dollars, being the old person on a TV show, why in the world would you get a facelift? That was a bad decision.
Weird.
Amy Winehouse, British singer-songwriter, dies from alcohol poisoning at age 27 in 2011.
Jesus.
Joining the infamous,
27 Club.
27 Club. Hey, Rui, who else is in the 27 Club?
There's Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, D. Boone from the Minutemen, Janis Joplin.
Yeah.
You got, why can't I remember his name? It's bad that I can't remember his name from The Doors.
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison, yeah. Robert Johnson.
That's
also.
Good job. Some applause, Stacey. Got them all.
Who's Robert Johnson?
The blues singer.
Yeah, he was the blues singer that sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's This Week in Death. You know, you got to appreciate every breath, everyone, because death is coming for you. So, R.I.P. everybody. Clogged, Stace. Let me try that again.
Oh my God.
R.I.P. See you in hell.
Hopefully they were cremated first.
See you in hell, my friend.
That's a very long flush.
Those aren't like whole body parts, are they, Ken?
A couple of quick things before we get to the movies. Stacy sent me this. Musical based on The Lost Boys is nearly done.
What?
Yeah. The highly anticipated TV show from the CW adapting the cult classic The Lost Boys may be on hold at the moment, but another project, a prequel musical no less, is moving apace. The show's composer, Gerald McMahon, who goes by the stage name G. Tom Mack. Does he have to go by the stage name?
That's awful.
G. Tom Mack. Can you imagine, Stace? Can you imagine calling somebody G. Tom Mack?
No.
Maybe you just call him G.
Oh, there he is, G. Tom Mack.
Or Tom or Mac.
Why doesn't he just use his name?
Just use your name, Gerald.
Or Jerry.
He's not that cool that he needs to be called G. Tom Mack.
Jer.
Yeah.
It could be Jer.
He
Jer
recently
Bear.
said the TV show is currently stuck in limbo due partly to the COVID-19 crisis, but his musical adaptation of the 1987 film is nearly done.
Oh, boy.
The musical entitled A Lost Boys Story is a prequel to the movie from the late Joel Schumacher. The music is already written, McMahon said. McMahon noted that Schumacher, who recently passed away, was a huge supporter of his show. There was nobody more engaged with my musical, he said. He understood musical theater, and we would have many conversations about it.
There's no one here to verify that this is actually a thing.
The musical's storyline reportedly relates the backstory of David, Kiefer Sutherland's character, who immigrates to America from his native Lithuania and is adopted by a loving Jewish family. He eventually
Quite a story.
He eventually winds up in an orphanage run by a vampire, Max, Ed Herman in the film, who turns him into one of the undead. McMahon explained that David leaves the orphanage as a teenager, runs into others of his own kind, and starts a family with 3 other vampires. They head to California, McMahon said. That's when the good stuff starts. McMahon said,
right.
Yes.
If this wasn't a musical, maybe. I just fucking hate musicals.
Yeah.
McMahon said the musical is very much a story of immortality, but it's also a story about how people in their 20s think they're immortal anyway. It kind of runs that parallel of pop culture. Casting is underway for the show, which is expected to hit the big stage somewhere in 2022.
Ugh.
Yep.
I'll skip.
We make it like, I don't know, 2025 or something. Just push it back further.
The original movie, which starred Corey Haim, Jason Patric, Kiefer Sutherland, and Diane West, was a critical and financial success, grossing $32 million on a budget of $8.5 million. The movie gave birth to 2 sequels, 2 comic book series, and a proposed TV series. So there you go, everybody. Coming soon. Lost Points, the musical.
Oh, no!
I know. It's going to happen, though. There's nothing we can do about it. Hey, I've never seen the
There's
movie.
plenty we could do, but they're just not legal.
I've never seen the movie, but it just seems relevant to Salem. Spirit Halloween, which, by the way, is still going to open this year. I mean,
There's gonna be so many fucking abandoned buildings, and like they're gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be nothing but spirits, as far as the eye can see.
I mean,
the year of spirit.
Yeah, exactly. So you can go and buy all your Halloween garbage. Whether you get to do anything for Halloween is another story, but it's going to be open. Anyway, they're exclusively carrying Hocus Pocus Pop Pez dispensers. You know Stace, you know the Funko Pop?
Yeah.
Right? Well, they teamed up with Pez to make Hocus Pocus dispensers. Scheduled to ship September 2nd. Winifred, Sarah, and Mary are available at $4.99 each. So if you want Hocus Pocus Pez dispensers, which I feel
that's cool,
many people would.
Might as well. In the future, you're going to be able to sell those for a fair bit, I imagine.
They're probably making millions of them, so probably not.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Let's see.
Yeah, we will. Have you ever seen the movie Hocus Pocus, Rui?
Yeah, I have. My sister made me watch it
she
one
did?
Halloween.
What'd you think? Did you like it?
I liked it. You know, it was a fun movie.
I've never seen it, but I know it takes place in Salem, and I think some of it was shot in Salem. Is that right, Kelly?
I don't think it was.
Wait, yeah, a lot of it was shot in Salem.
Thank you.
Salem and Gloucester and Marblehead.
Wow.
And then a bunch of it was shot on a set. But yeah, I'm actually moving right down the street to one of the houses that it was filmed at.
Incredible.
Yeah, the Hocus Pocus house, the one where Max lives.
Fantastic.
It's like right next to the water. Mm-hmm.
New board game billed as the Halloween Monopoly coming out. While Halloween celebrations are likely to look a little different this year, this hasn't stopped horror fans from preparing for the spooky season. Many of us might be spending the holiday indoors in smaller groups of family and friends, and the Halloween industry is preparing accordingly. Boo-opoly is a new board game launching in time for Halloween 2020, adding to the options for those unable to attend traditional public celebrations and the coronavirus because of the coronavirus crisis. The game is designed by Late for the Sky, an environmentally conscious games publisher. The product description explains players buy favorite Halloween properties, collect haunted houses, and trade them in for full moons. Does that make sense?
What?
Not really.
Sounds easy enough, but that doesn't sound easy enough. No. Sounds easy enough, but add fright fees, bats in your belfry, or get caught soaping the windows, and it becomes a little more difficult and a lot more fun.
It's Halloween in 1950?
You may win the jack-o'-lantern carving contest, or you may end up eating slimy spider tacos at the Monster Mash.
Ooh.
Whatever happens, it's going to be frighteningly fun. The game is available to pre-order now.
You know, when you said you buy beloved horror properties, I thought you were going to say and churn out 12 sequels.
Right. Boopoly, everybody. It's coming out. If you like,
Take my money.
And you like board games. Hey, Mike Tyson battles a shark in upcoming Shark Week special.
I can't wait for Shark Week.
The 32nd annual Shark Week kicks off August 9th on the Discovery Channel. And we've learned today that this year's main event will see boxing legend Mike Tyson battling a shark.
What?
An official press release details the brand new special, Tyson versus Jaws, Rumble on the Reef.
It's got to be some sort of animatronic or something. He can't literally be out there battling a shark. I don't even think that's legal.
I was going to say animal rights activists will not be happy.
PETA would be all over that shit.
Let's read on. Legendary boxer Mike Tyson is training to make his way back in the ring with a very unlikely sparring partner. Iron Mike will go toe-to-fin with one of the ocean's top apex predators when Shark Week 2020 begins on Sunday, August 9th. With famed ring announcer Michael Buffer calling the shots, these two heavyweights will square off underwater, where Mike Tyson will try to score a TKO over the massive shark. And don't worry, everybody, no sharks were harmed or bitten in the making of this episode.
Right.
So I don't know what it is. I don't know.
It's Jabberjaw?
I took on this challenger, the shark, to overcome fears I still deal with in life, said Tyson. I equate this with overcoming my fear of getting back into the ring at 54 years old. I learned from this experience doing Shark Week that whatever intimidates me, I am still able to step up to the challenge of overcoming anything that would prevent me from accomplishing my life's mission or reaching my highest potential in life and bringing me closer to God. That was quite a run-on sentence.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Please tell me it's live, so if something goes terribly wrong, we can see it.
I don't know how he's going to fight a shark. If this was
Do you think?
If this was the 70s...
CGI shark?
If it was the 70s, they'd have him actually boxing a real shark.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't do that now.
Pandemic.
Oh my God. It would be cool if it was like one of those mechanical bulls, but instead it's like a mechanical shark in the water.
Yeah.
And it just flings you all over the place.
Right. Like, what if it was like, it was Bruce, the animatronic shark from Jaws? Maybe he's going to actually fight Jaws.
It was just a really buff guy in a shark costume.
Oh, how sexy would that be? Maybe it will be. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But we'll all have to tune in on August 9th to find out what happens.
Or maybe he's just like getting in a shark cage.
In the
but you can't. How does that work?
In the infamous Lucio Fulci 1979 movie Zombie, in the beginning of the movie, a zombie fights a shark underwater, and the zombie wins. So maybe it'd be like that. I don't know.
I am so afraid of sharks. It's ridiculous. Like, it stopped me from going into the ocean for a lot of my life.
Well, I mean, it depends on where you are in the ocean. There's not.
Now I'm fine. I can go up to like my waist.
Yeah.
Never past that.
Yeah, that's fine. How much further do you need to get in? That seems like plenty.
So your toes don't touch the bottom?
Oh,
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, where are you going to swim to? You going to swim to Canada?
Yeah, where are you going to go?
Yeah, Rui, I'm going to swim to Canada. I'm going to get the fuck out of here.
All right, everybody, listen. It's time for some bad news.
No big deal.
All right, everybody. There's a lot of bad news out there, and unfortunately, we got some more. So let's get to it. Let's get to the bad news this week.
All right.
Go ahead.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Go
ahead. Here we go.
Man steals massive dildo from sex shop, and he's still at large.
They haven't found him yet. What happened? Tell us what happened.
A mass thief was still at large after he casually exited a Las Vegas adult store in broad daylight with a 3-foot, 40-pound dildo hoisted onto his shoulder. That's fucking huge, man. That is the size of a child, like a medium child.
Yeah.
He just picked it up and walked out with it. Laura, a store employee who declined to give her last name, told HuffPost on Tuesday. TMZ, which obtained surveillance footage of the July 14th theft at Deja Vu Love Boutique in Las Vegas, reported that the man stuffed the stolen phallus into his car and made a clean getaway. Wow. Laura said the stolen good is actually a sex toy named Moby that retails for $1,250. If the crook gets caught, he'll surely be subject to the penal code.
Oh, the penal code.
Oh my God.
The penal code, everybody. Yeah, so, I think that, who was the lady there, Laura? I think she was just so shocked she didn't know what to do about it.
I mean, deer in the headlights.
She was just happy he was wearing a mask.
You gotta have some great big balls to
steal a dick that big.
Steal a piece. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, that's fucking huge. And who the hell would use that? Is that just for show?
It's got to be like a just a conversation piece.
Yeah, you know, like you like put a knife on the wall for like decoration.
Right.
You just like hang that up.
Yeah.
Let everybody know that you like to party.
It's a little too big for your mantle. Where would you put, Stace? Let's say we bought the 3-foot dildo. Where do you see yourself putting that?
In the shed where nobody can see it.
$1,200. You better hope we get that second stimulus package.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good luck to Deja Vu Love Boutique. I hope you get your dick back.
Honestly, good luck to this guy. I gotta say, the dude's brave. I give him some props.
Well, he's probably like, this is so outrageous. What are they going to do? They're not going to
Exactly. He's just going to walk down the street in broad daylight.
Sounds like a dare, because it's a weird thing to steal, right?
Yeah, I mean, what do you do with it after you got it? I mean, I guess that's the whole idea of stealing it, because then
maybe you'll return it.
Yeah.
It sounds like a fraternity hazing prank or something.
Yeah.
Probably is. All right. California woman seen setting hair on fire on the subway.
Oh boy.
Yikes.
Her own?
We'll see. A California woman was filmed riding on a Bay Area commuter rail with her hair on fire on Tuesday. The brief clip posted to TikTok began on a BART train as flames shoot from the woman's head. "Your hair is on fire," a man shouts. The woman, who is standing up, starts shrieking and falls into her seat. Another rider tries to pat out the blaze. She's probably just going to smack her in the head. The fire is put out quickly, but fills the train car with smoke.
Jesus.
"What the fuck, man?" another passenger shouts.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, what else could you possibly say? The alarming scene took place at the El Cerrito del Norte station around 5 p.m. Tuesday evening. BART officials told the San Francisco Chronicle the mass transit agency said the woman in the video never reported the incident to the BART police department, though a station agent did call the police, reporting a woman who apparently set her own hair on fire, BART said. At this time, BPD has not received any information indicating this was any sort of assault committed by another rider. BART spokesperson Jim Allison told the outlet, "On behalf of BART, I certainly hope she is okay."
So she lit her own hair on fire. It sounds.
Did she do it for the TikTok video?
I think she did. Maybe she did it for the TikTok video.
God damn it! What is wrong with these fucking kids?
And it got out of hand.
Good.
We know. Don't worry. We know they're idiots too.
Good, Rui.
But there are plenty of these TikTokers. They block up the hallways at school, so you can't go anywhere.
So, but it is part of the TikTok community, the TikTok experience, to do weird, dangerous pranks, right? I mean, that's part of the whole trip,
Pretty
right?
much. Yeah, and it's not even like cool stuff. It's just stupid, you know.
It's like jackass on steroids, it seems.
So it's possible that, they're saying, they don't know. I mean, but there's cameras in the train, so they would know. It sounds like, as a TikTok prank, you could light somebody else's hair on fire. That would make sense.
That's probably more likely, honestly.
Right.
Yeah, TikTokers
because
would absolutely do that.
Because when the guy told her that her hair was on fire, she shrieked.
Yeah.
Here's how we'll do it. Rui, you're the guy that tells her that her hair is on fire. Kelly, your hair is on fire, so you shriek, and then I'll be the what the fuck man.
Okay.
There we go. Right. Ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
A little horror show theater. Here we go.
Hey, your hair's on fire.
What the fuck, man? Thank you. We did it. Some applause, Stace. That was good. I love it. That's some good acting. All right, well, I hope she's okay. Next.
Woman tries to hire hitman to kill husband on satire site rentahitman.com.
So wait a minute. So if I understand this, Daisy.
Yeah.
Lady wants to have her husband killed.
Yeah.
So she Googles, I want to get my husband killed.
Just on Google.
On Google.
Not even on the dark web.
Right.
Yeah.
Up pops rentahitman.com, and she signs up for it.
Yep. Genius. Michigan woman who wanted her ex-husband murdered tried to hire a killer via the farcical.
Thank you.
Website rentahitman.com, police allege. According to the investigators, Wendy Wine, 51, this month filed out a service request form on the site which describes itself as your point-and-click solution and boasts 17,985 US-based field operatives. Come on. Site visitors are assured that Rent-A-Hitman is compliant with provisions of the 1964 Hitman Information Privacy and Protection Act. HIPAA. I don't think that's what HIPAA is.
Right.
A recent update on Rent-A-Hitman noted that we are still open during COVID-19 pandemic, though our Wuhan offices will be working on a reduced schedule.
Oh my God.
So none of this is a red flag to this
Yeah,
woman.
like she thinks that this is a thing. The form she submitted to the website identified her former spouse as the intended victim, prompting Rent-A-Hitman's operator to contact Michigan State Police since it appeared Wine was serious about soliciting a murder. An undercover trooper subsequently met her in a parking lot near her home in South Rockwood, a village about 25 miles south of Detroit. She allegedly offered the supposed hitman $5,000 to kill her ex and gave him an upfront payment to cover travel expenses since the target lives outside Michigan. Wine was subsequently arrested and charged with the murder solicitation, and using a computer to commit a crime. Both felonies.
You fucked up again, kid.
So I can't. How's
not the smartest.
Definitely not.
The sharpest tool in the shed.
Well, you know, the sad thing is that her husband must be doing something terrible for her to want him killed, unless it's some kind of insurance scheme.
Like, who knows what the actual reason was?
Yeah.
But regardless of what the reason is, it's crazy that she thought that this would be so easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me go on the internet and hire a hitman.
I mean, how do you hire a hitman? You just go into some sketchy bar and whisper around?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you would have to.
They always catch people too. They always see when you hear these stories.
Yeah, even the ones. Because even the ones where it's like people go on the dark web to find a hitman. It always turns out to be an undercover cop, even in the deep web. So I don't know how you get somebody rubbed out.
People, you heard it here. Just do it yourself. Yep. This is the old DIY job.
Exactly.
Yeah,
self-reliance is important.
Well, really, I mean, what are the situations where you want to get somebody rubbed out? That's the thing. I mean, if it's a relationship issue, just distance yourself from the relationship. If it's a money issue, insurance companies have all this shit figured out. They always do.
Oh yeah, they have tons of private investigators and all kinds of stuff. They're fine.
Yeah.
So there's really
maybe in the 70s or the 80s you could get away with that.
It just doesn't make sense
now.
anymore.
It's only justified when it's that asshole who always steps on the back of your shoes but pretends it's an accident. It's like, yeah, haha, maybe once, but not 5 times, Rick.
Oh my God,
Rui speaks from experience.
Rui has a very specific target in mind.
That's all it takes.
I think at that point, murder is justified.
Rui, I have a website for you. It's called rentahitman.com. Go on there and take care of your problem.
Will do.
All right, next.
12-year-old boy steals truck, leads police on a chase before crashing.
That's
a 12-year-old boy is facing
exactly
multiple felonies.
That's the way it would all go, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, a 12-year-old boy is facing multiple felonies after he stole a pickup truck from a convenience store parking lot and crashed twice before police chased him down on foot. According to the Delaware State Police, the 41-year-old owner of a 2003 Ford Ranger left it running with the doors unlocked at about noon Saturday while he went inside a Newcastle Wawa store to take out money from the ATM. When he came back out, he saw a young boy driving his truck away. Delaware State troopers located the truck in a parking lot behind a nearby motel, the News Journal said. I mean, at that point, you see the car running, the guy goes in, and they're just like, this is my only shot. I got to take it, you know? Yeah. All right. When they tried to initiate the traffic stop, the driver refused to pull out of the parking lot. Troopers pursued the boy for about 2 miles until he lost control and crashed into a parked vehicle, police said. But he made a U-turn and took off again. He made a U-turn and took off again at a high rate of speed, back the way he came.
Sure.
About 1,000 feet later, the boy failed to negotiate a curve and crashed for a second time. This time into a guardrail near Holloway
How's
Terrace
the car
Park.
still going?
I don't know. It's like a demolition derby.
Know. The boy jumped out of the truck after the crash and tried to run away, but troopers caught up to him and arrested him. He's been charged with theft of a motor vehicle, which is a felony, hindering prosecution, another felony, disregarding a police officer's signal, a third felony, resisting arrest, leaving the scene of a property collision accident, driving without a license, careless driving, 2 counts of driving at an unreasonable or, what does that say, imprudent speed, failure to stop at a stop sign, failure to report a collision, and 2 counts of failure to remain within a single lane. Wow. The Delaware police said all that.
Bro.
Wow. So the weird thing is, it's like he had seconds, really, to come up with this plan.
Yeah, he fucking did it.
It's definitely a 12-year-old plan.
GTA.
I mean, like, because he's probably just hanging out in front of the convenience store. What would you be? Why would you go to a convenience store when you were 12? What would
maybe
you?
to like see if someone would buy you cigarettes.
So maybe he's, he's eating a Slim Jim, drinking a Pepsi, and he sees this dummy walk in there, leaving his car on, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm taking this thing." Where's he gonna? Like, what's the long?
Yeah, he did not think ahead.
First of all,
maybe he had somewhere to go.
How does a 12-year-old know how to drive a truck?
I don't think he did. I think that's the point.
Obviously, he didn't.
That's why he was crashing.
That would explain all the crashing, I guess.
He was arraigned before a justice of peace and released to his guardian on a bond of $8,008.
Wow.
Oh, so essentially the death sentence at that point, because his parents are gonna have to pay that.
Yeah, exactly.
Say that kid is lucky he's not my mom's son because she has skinned him and then pour alcohol on him, so he's lucky.
Oh my God.
What happened to you as a child?
Let's not open up any old wounds while we're.
That's another episode, Kelly.
But for real though, like, imagine being the guy who lost his truck. He just walks out of the store and he sees this little shit in his driver's seat, just screaming like, "Eat my dust, old timer!"
Right, exactly.
Crash the fucking truck.
Oh.
What a little shit.
Kids these days. All right, next.
All right. Woman urinates on the floor after refusing to leave Verizon store for not wearing a mask.
Ugh.
Oh, what a fucking jerk.
Yep. Got a Karen here, except a very powerful Karen, apparently.
There we go.
Roseville, California. We've seen a lot of confrontations involving masks, including verbal fights, physical altercations, and even coughing fits.
Yep.
Oh, I seen
Smart. But this one might top it all. When a regular day at work turned into quite a show at a Verizon store off Galleria Boulevard in Roseville. A 911 call you hear the dispatch operator tell an officer 3 people are refusing to leave not wearing a mask. They've asked several times and she refuses. About 3 minutes later, the operator tells the officer they're calling back with an advising that the female is pulling down her pants and is now urinating inside the business. Roseville police got to the scene and confirmed the incident to CBS 13. Spokesperson Rob Bakira says officers arrested the woman after finding several stolen items from a nearby Dick's Sporting Goods store in her vehicle. I don't really have much to say except this is probably not the right way to react to it. Simply wear a mask or leave, I guess, he said.
Right. So, from what I understand, this lady had a hell of a day. First, she went to Dick's Sporting Goods, stole a bunch of stuff. Then she went into the Verizon store. I don't know what she was looking for in the Verizon store.
Probably steal some more stuff.
Maybe steal some more stuff. But when she got there, they were like, hey, wear a mask. And she was like, nope, not wearing a mask. Well, then you have to leave. Well, then I'm peeing on your floor.
What a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't care if you're going in there to steal stuff, but just wear a fucking mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Wear a mask.
Yeah.
You know what? This is literally, if you were going to go rob a place, you would be wearing a mask. This is
right.
your time. This is it.
Now she's on camera.
That's the crazy thing. You had the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Because it worked at Dick's Sporting Goods. They didn't notice a thing.
Well, you draw more attention to yourself by urinating in a Verizon store.
Right.
I mean, come on. You could have gotten away with it.
I mean, she probably walked out of Dick's with, who knows, a rifle, a canoe, who knows?
A canoe.
A 3-foot tilt out.
Yeah, exactly. And now she could have went to Verizon and got, I don't know what, iPhones or whatever she wanted. She's wearing a fucking mask and no one would know who she is.
Technically.
And instead, look at what she did. Ridiculous.
She blew it.
Can you imagine working at a Verizon store for like what, $15 an hour and having to deal with that shit?
Yeah, it's awful. Working in retail is awful.
We had someone piss in one of the haunted houses that I worked at
you
before.
Did?
On Halloween,
yeah,
when I was working at an old haunt downtown Salem, we had cameras in it. And there was a group of people in the first room, which was a seance room.
Yeah.
So they came in, they did a seance for like 5 minutes, and then they got shuffled into the back of the haunt. And while they were out there doing a seance, all of a sudden we heard someone that we work with being like, "You motherfucker! What the fuck?" And all of us like, what the fuck is going on out there? One of the actors chased this guy out down the street screaming at him because he caught him pissing in the corner of the seance room.
Outrageous.
Just whipped his dick out right there and just started peeing right in the haunt. And it's actually, somebody caught it on camera. So you just see this clown chasing this guy down the street on Halloween, calling him a motherfucker. And someone remixed it too.
Wow.
I'll send it to you, Ken, when I
gotta see
find
that.
it.
Jesus. All right, Stace, what do you got?
Georgia detective discovers body is a sex doll.
Okay.
It seemed like a
Now
major
we're
crime
going.
for Allenhurst, Georgia, a town of less than 700 people in southeast Georgia. A female body was spotted by the railroad tracks.
That's alarming.
Liberty County deputies gathered at the scene and waited for the coroner. It took a while before they realized the joke was on them. The corpse was actually a sex doll. Detective Mike Alberton said officers found the female humanoid Tuesday afternoon. Under department policy, deputies can't touch a dead body until the coroner arrives. Once the coroner came to the scene, the detectives began checking the body out for injuries and immediately realized it was a sex doll. Detectives said it was anatomically correct with realistic features and was fully dressed. It is unclear whether authorities will investigate. Alberton says he's never encountered an incident like this.
It's so ridiculous, isn't it?
So, well, wait a minute. So if it was one of those actual, like...
Real dolls?
Yeah. Those things are thousands of dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
Why would you leave it by the railroad tracks?
Maybe somebody's wife or something or girlfriend found it and dragged it out of the house.
Or maybe they had a fight The guy in the
That's
sex
also
doll.
maybe
Like Lars
maybe
and
it was
the
like
real
a
girl.
maybe it was like a fake murder of the real doll.
And he probably feels so guilty about it too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He probably, you're probably right. He was like, I've had it with you. I'm gonna throw you in front of a train.
It was an act. It was an act in the moment. He didn't.
He goes
think
and
it
turns
through.
himself into the police department.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't live with this anymore.
Yeah. I remember, like in the last days of the Combat Zones days.
Yeah.
Remember the Combat Zone downtown?
Yeah.
One of the they had the peep shows and the bookstores and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One of them in the window had a real doll when they first came out. So this would probably be this was like right before I met you. So it was like late 90s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they are really, even then, fucking alarming because they look like human beings. I mean, they got dead eyes, obviously.
Right.
But the rest of them look...
a lot of humans.
That's true. But the rest of them look just like an actual person. They're really scary. It's wild that people are having sex with them.
I saw a post yesterday on Facebook, I think, that someone reshared, and it's this dude with his girlfriend, and it's a fucking doll. And he changes her clothing, obviously, and they go out, and there's pictures of them at parks and at restaurants. And somebody wrote him like, oh, it's so cute, the clothing that she's wearing. And he was like, oh yeah, I try to give her personality and change her clothing and her makeup. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I saw that. The guy is some kind of veteran. He's like a Marine or a Navy or from the Navy or something.
Huh.
And he takes the doll with him wherever he goes. And,
there is a creepy picture of her with a burrito in her hand.
Yeah.
Because, I think the fingers, you can, bend the fingers, and she's, holding the burrito near her mouth. And it was, so fucking weird.
Yeah, because he had a whole thing she likes this kind of food, and she likes this restaurant and all this kind of stuff. And it was guy's obviously suffering from mental illness, but it's just like the movie Lars and the Real Girl. You should watch that if you haven't seen it, because it's how do you deal with that?
As a friend.
Yeah, I mean, as a citizen, when somebody sits down with a fucking mannequin, basically, and starts talking to it at a restaurant and ordering.
Yeah,
food.
you're the waitress or waiter.
I would play along. I think I would play along.
Yeah,
I wouldn't give a shit.
Kelly would play along. She doesn't care. The fuck does it matter to Kelly? Rui, what would you do if you were at the cafe? Guy shows up with a mannequin, orders some fancy cheese for the mannequin.
I would get them out of there as quickly as possible, but just act normal.
Yeah, just act like everything.
You have to be nice, but you know.
Maybe it's something we're gonna have to deal with more in the future. I don't know.
I think it is all those guys with the body pillows too.
Yeah.
Wait, Ken's the one with all the mannequins.
Yeah, it's true. I do have a lot of mannequins, but
He's not taking the places.
Ken, I wouldn't kick you out of my restaurant.
But I think I don't think I own any mannequins now at all. I owned many of them
for the show.
For the show, but we threw them all away. Rui has one of them behind him. You can see behind him.
The fish man, or is it?
And then Cammy has my other one. So now I no longer have any mannequins.
I think it may have honestly been best for the female mannequins if we had just destroyed them. Now they've probably been taken home by
You're probably right.
Some less savory folk.
Yeah, and then they'll end up on the railroad tracks.
They don't have any heads.
When it doesn't work out.
Some people are really into that, Stacey.
Oh God.
Where was it? The Times Square killer?
Styrofoam skull heads.
Well, there you go, everybody. There's some bad news for you. Now we're going to tell you about some horror movies that we've seen this week. Ready, Stace? Ready, Stace? Here we go.
Any moment. Okay.
Right there on my TV. Horror movie right there on my TV. Horror movie and there's no abuse. Horror movie, it's a 6:30 news. Horror movie, it's a 6:30 news. And it's shocking me right out of my brain.
So good.
Hey, we love horror movies here. That's why we do the show. So, we tend to watch horror movies. And we'd like to tell you what we've seen. So that's what we're going to do right now. Hey, Rui, the 16-year-old intern, have you watched any horror movies this week?
Don't fuck this up this time,
Yeah,
right?
I have. I've redeemed myself
Thank
from
you.
last week.
Okay, beautiful.
This got recommended to me by a friend. It's Ganjiam Haunted Asylum. It's a Korean movie.
Okay.
It's found footage style, but it's like Grave Encounters, basically. It's Korean Grave Encounters, and like it's found footage, except there's multiple cameras because it's supposed to be like a live stream.
Okay.
Type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have these people. They're doing a live stream, kind of like if you ever seen BuzzFeed Unsolved Mysteries, it's like that. They're doing that for a web series. So they go into this haunted asylum, which is actually a real place, and they also use the actors' real names for this, so kind of to add realism.
Sure,
so
right.
They go into this haunted asylum, and exactly what you think is going to happen happens. I don't think I need to tell you what happens when they go into a haunted asylum.
Right. So was it scary?
Yeah, it's pretty scary. I mean, it's there's plenty of good scares in it. It's pretty freaky, with all the ghost people, and because it's also like they do the thing where some of it is intentionally faked, so you never know. Like at the beginning, there's a lot of stuff that was not real that they were just doing to drum up drama.
Sure,
for
right,
the web series.
exactly.
Yeah.
Nice.
As I'm
twist.
sure you would do if you did something like
Sure,
that.
absolutely. Sounds good. Where can we find that?
It's on Amazon. I think
Amazon.
it might be on Prime, but
Okay, beautiful. What's it called again?
yeah, it's on Prime. It's called Ganjiam. I think it's. Let me check how. It's Ganjiam, which is spelled Gonjiam, Haunted Asylum.
Fantastic. I love a good found footage. And, Rui, I appreciate that you don't mind reading subtitles.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not too bad. There's also, for some reason, like in the asylum, there's some graffiti that's in English.
Oh, yeah? What does
I
it
don't
say?
know why.
Does it say anything good?
It said something like, we're gonna live, and then it changed to we're gonna die or something
Yeah,
like that.
nice. All right, good.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Rui. Larsa, what have you seen?
So I saw a lot of movies this week.
Okay. Lay 'em on
I
us.
saw Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bolorama. We saw The Bleeding House, The Girl with All the Gifts, and Alice, Sweet Alice.
Okay, now,
Wow.
first of
Well,
all, Sorority Babes, what did you think?
I think it was super funny.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, at some point we started like doing things around the house and we were just listening to it, but it was like so ridiculous. And that like devil or troll or whatever thing that was going around, I think he was hilarious.
It was,
jive talking.
It was an
little
imp.
demon dude.
The imp, yeah.
And
it was
he was voiced by the singer from Haunted Garage. Anybody remember? Dookie Flyswatter. Anybody remember Haunted Garage? 80s shock rock band? No? Okay. Look him up.
no.
It's all right. It's all right.
Sorry, Ken.
It's okay.
It was pretty fun. It had some sort of like nice boobs. Like Jess thought that the boobs were not that great, but I think they were.
I think the boobs are great in that movie. I don't
think
know.
they're fantastic.
I don't know what Jess's problem with 80s boobs are. I think
I don't know.
I think
don't
she's
know.
expecting something different from the 80s than what we're actually had to offer.
Does
in
she
the
want
80s.
them bigger or smaller?
I think that it's that in a lot of them we have seen like really perky boobs all the time, and in this one there was one girl that wasn't that perky, and she.
Are
was
you kidding me?
Yeah.
The one with the long hair, the one with the biggest bush. That girl didn't have like a lot of boob, but it was okay. It wasn't that bad. She
You
did
guys
have
are
a
so
massive-
judgmental.
I know,
Don't send
right?
Jess over to my house. Shit. She'll be in for a real
Yeah,
surprise.
I was so impressed by that bush. I couldn't stop looking at it. Like, oh my god, that's
I was-
terrible.
After when Larsa had mentioned it on our thread, and I had pondered Stace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, since we review horror movies every
Right.
week and we do the best kill of the week, I wonder if we should do the best boobs of the week, because There's going to be boobs in everything we watch, right?
It depends, yeah.
I'm pondering it. Might be good. Might be good, might be sexist. I don't know, Stace. I got to think about it.
Yeah.
And I got a 16-year-old to think about.
Right.
But he's seen a lot of boobs. Most of them because of me. At this point, he's seen way more boobs than a 16-year-old should have seen, and it's all my fault.
We think like sometimes when Jess and I talk about Rui, we're like, that kid is so lucky because by 16 we were like so fucking boring people.
Yeah.
And he has so much life experience.
I know, it's
for a
crazy.
Hero, like he has seen almost everything out there. So
yeah, and had to clean up almost everything too.
Adulthood is going to be a real letdown because it's not going to be quite as exciting, but.
Well, if I keep in public access, it's also like what you've done is you've given me an unrealistic expectation of public access television.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing's going to be as fun after this. Hey, tell us about the Bleeding House.
So the Bleeding House, I just put it randomly on Amazon and Prime because I started watching Mask, but it was super late and I was a little bit high and it's in German and I had to read and I was not up for that at that point. So we started watching this one and it's a family that lives in this town, like kind of like in the middle of somewhere, right?
Yep.
It's never specified where, but they had a situation that it's not, you see bits of it during the movie, right? So apparently the wife set this house on fire, right? And they have this daughter and this boy, and the boy is like so fed up with living in like, they have been shunned by the rest of the town. So even though the dad was like a prominent lawyer, after this incident, they shunned this family. So they're still living in this farm and waiting for that moment in which like the whole town is gonna forgive them and they're gonna restart their lives again instead of like fucking moving away. But they stay in the house and they have the daughter is super weird. She likes to be called instead of her name, which is Gloria, which is an awful name. Her name now is Blackbird.
Nice.
And they're talking about Blackbird, right? So suddenly one night, this guy arrives and he's dressed in all white and he says that like his car broke down and blah, 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 blah. And because the daughter is like, you start like learning throughout the movie, obviously, that the daughter has issues and that apparently she supposedly is a cutter. That's why you're led to think that she's a cutter. And all the knives are like hidden in the house. She doesn't leave the house. She collects like a lot of like dead animals and bones and has her wall full of like, you know, different insects that she has caught. And it's like super weird. Apparently the smell is not that good and they're like trying to like, you know, give her like time to like clean the room and paint the room and like get better little by little, but it's not working. So this guy comes one night and asks to stay there, but because the girl apparently is a little bit crazy, they don't want him to stay. But at the end, the wife is like, okay, because maybe like this might be the chance of doing something good, and he'll go back to the town and tell them that we're nice and we'll like be unshun of the society, right?
Sure.
But this guy is not what it seems to be, and he is a killer, and he goes from different towns, town to town, and he learns who has done something really bad in the town, and then if the person has been you know, not prosecuted for their crime, like it happened in this case, because the story is that the wife burned that house with the family inside, and the husband is a lawyer, and he got her out of the case, and she was set free. So he's in the house to punish them. But when he gets there, he learns that it wasn't the wife that killed the family and burned the house. It was the daughter. And then he starts like being attracted to the daughter because she is ruthless. Like this kid, it's like she had like a live bird and she's not supposed to have live animals inside of the house because she is a killer. And the mom is like trying to fight her in one scene for her to release the bird. And she snaps the bird in front of her mom and this gentleman that nobody knows who he is. So that's when he learns that she is the killer, that she's the one that did this whole thing to that other family, right? So he kills everybody in the house.
Some spoiler alerts here.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. There's a lot of killing. There is a lot of killing, a lot of like beating shit out of people. It was really good. And I will recommend it. I will recommend it. It had like really good killings in there. And then like, chasing people in forests is always good. So that one was a good one.
Okay.
It was better than other stuff that I have seen out there.
Okay.
So it was good.
What was the third one you saw?
We saw The Girl with All the Gifts.
The Girl with All the Gifts.
Yeah, with Glenn Close.
Okay.
And I realized that every single movie I watch with Glenn Close, my God, she is awful. Like, she's such a great actress that I hate her because she plays villains so good and
Right.
bad people so good. Like, it's like the opposite of Meryl Streep. She always plays like nice ladies and very, characters that you can relate to, except like in The Devil Wears Prada.
Death Becomes Her.
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie. She's amazing in that movie. But usually you can relate to her characters. Glenn Close, all the movies I have seen with her, she's so bad and awful that I hate her. Like, I don't like her. And that's good because it's like she's a great actress. If you don't like someone because they play like a bad person, they're really good actors. But anyway, this is a zombie movie, and those are not the type of movie I like. But there is something that happens, and everybody becomes a zombie except a group of people. And Glenn Close is a doctor that is trying to find a cure because there's a set of kids that they're kind of like half-breeds, and they can learn. They have a brain, like they act like normal people. But as soon as they smell human, if they have not been eating, they will eat you.
Right.
And the zombies destroyed the wall that was protecting this whole, army shit going, that they were, trying to, get the vaccine against being a zombie and shit. And it's them trying to find a safe place. Oh my God, I'm like the worst describing the movies, I think. Anyway, they're like, this little girl she's a zombie, but she's also good in nature and really smart. So there's conflict of she is a zombie when she's hungry, but she's also so smart and caring for the people left that are humans, right?
Yeah.
And it's the chase of them trying to stay alive against the zombies.
Okay.
And trying to find a vaccine. But the girl is so good and nice that one of the doctors that is with them don't want to kill the girl, because to get the vaccine you have to kill this girl and open her brain, and she doesn't want to do that. So it's trying to protect this good girl that is bad at the same time, and trying to stop Glenn Close, but you can't because she's with you and she's a doctor. So it's a lot of conflict. But it was for being one of the second and third movies I watch about zombies, it was a good one. I had a little bit of an argument with Jess because she believes zombies can be a real thing, and I don't think they can be a real thing.
Yeah, okay.
And I told her that, you need to stop this argument that zombies can be a real thing, because then I'm going to lose faith in you. And I mean, I want to marry you. I cannot marry someone that really believes in zombies. So you need to stop. I mean, I think it's super unreal. To me, it's more scary a movie like the one that we're gonna review.
Yeah.
Because there's people out there that is fucked up and can fucking kill you out of nothing. But zombie is unreal to me. Like a werewolf, that shit doesn't exist.
Exactly. And finally, Alice, Sweet Alice. What did you think about that one?
So that movie is from the 70s.
Yeah.
And let me see. It was 1976, and it was Brooke Shields' first movie.
Whoa.
And yeah, and she gets killed in the first 20 minutes.
Spoiler alert.
God damn it.
I think that you just before Larissa gives any descriptions, we should just say spoiler alert.
Right. Exactly.
I'm so sorry, guys. So the movie is about apparently this girl that is killing people, and she is dressed up with a fucking scary, you remember the 80s, that's what I remember because I grew up in the 80s. Halloween, that the costumes were this plastic face mask.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like a mask like that, but it's transparent and with makeup. It's just like a female mask, right? And this person that we're thinking that it's the girl because she's fucking shady the whole time, is the one doing the killings. I'm not gonna spoil this one.
Okay.
That part that Brooke Shields dies.
Yeah.
But it was really good for like a 70-something movie. It's like, oh, that shit is fucked up, right? And it involves like church and religion, and I think that's always a good movie. Like trying to like fucked up with religion, it's always a good one. So I will recommend that one too if you want to go like back in time and see like a good decent movie.
Awesome. Alice, sweet Alice. There you go. There's Lursa's recommendation. Stacy, have you seen anything you want to talk about?
Wait, before you do that,
Yeah.
I want to say the best part of that was when Larissa asked you if you remember the 80s.
I didn't say it for Ken or Stacy or possibly you. I said for Rui because Rui. Rui, when were you born? Like
I was born in 2004.
Oh my god!
Where was that? Like, what Olympics were in that year? It wasn't Beijing because that was 2008.
What
so.
Olympics for that year? That's
Oh,
a weird
That's where
question.
you go from there.
Olympics.
That's
yeah,
that's how you remember years for like what Olympics was happening?
Every 4 years, yes, and I specifically remember Olympics 2008 because I think that they had the best opening ever in history. The Chinese government put it out there with that opening, and I salute them.
I love your passion.
Me too. All right,
right.
Stacy, what have you seen this
boy.
this week?
So I watched a couple of older TV movies that were on Amazon.
Okay.
So I watched this movie. It was called The Stalker Club. It was from 2017.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a G-rated slasher movie, basically. It's a group of teenagers they're friends, and they get these texts that ask them to join a stalker club if they want to play this game. And at first they're all like, no, there's no way. I don't know what this is. And then they decide there's one girl who's just kind of super annoying. Who's like, oh, let's do it. And so everyone's like, all right, we'll do it. And so they do it. And it leads to them all being stalked by this person wearing a mask. It was kind of like a Scream thing with the mask and the black cloak, kind of thing.
Sure.
And start stalking them, and people start dying, and they don't know what's going on, and it keeps, you can't tell anyone. The main thing, of course, is you can't tell anyone about the game.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's just this crazy story that follows and how all the kids get along, and it was pretty entertaining. It's very light, so if you want something that's kind of light and, it has some funny moments, and it's very, it's very Riverdale-y kind, that kind of thing.
But no blood.
But not, there's a little bit. It's not really, though.
No boobs.
No, definitely no boobs.
Okay. All right, Stalker Club, everybody.
No dice.
Yeah, yeah. It was fun for something light that you don't have to think too much about.
Sure.
And that took me down the black hole of stalker movies. So I watched.
I love stalker movies.
Stalked by My Doctor, and the reason why I watched this was because Eric Roberts plays the doctor, and
Love
if
that.
Eric Roberts is in it, I'm in. So, and he was amazing. So this girl and her boyfriend are in the car, and they get in a car accident because he's texting, and she keeps telling him stop texting, stop texting. He's like, oh, it's no big deal, blah blah blah. And then, of course, then they get in an accident, and she gets really hurt, and she ends up in the hospital. And she has some damage to her heart, so this cardiac surgeon operates on her, and she was really close to death, but she ends up being okay. And what we've already learned about the doctor is that he's single, and he's doing like online matchmaking kind of things, trying to meet somebody, and every time it doesn't work out because he gets too carried away, he gets crazy. So he ends up right away, weirdly, like infatuated by this patient, this teenage girl, and starts stalking her. And he's really, really intense and scary. And there was one part where I'm like, I can't even watch this scene. I'm going to fast forward because it's too disturbing for me to watch.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was really good. You really bought him as this crazed doctor. And apparently there's a whole bunch more of these movies that he made too, playing the same character. So, I'll probably watch this too.
Stalked by My Doctor.
Yeah, 2015.
Fantastic.
On Amazon.
Thank you, Stacey.
Doctor.
All right, I got a few to talk about. First one I want to mention is called Beneath Us. It's from 2019. This movie was crazy. So this loony chick picks up 4 undocumented workers at the Home Depot. You know, like you go to the Home Depot and there's just a bunch of dudes hanging out, and you can pick them up and get them to work on your house for the day.
Yeah.
So she picks up 4 undocumented workers to finish a guest house on her estate. Once they get there, she and her husband hold them hostage, forcing them to work until they drop, and then killing them if they try to escape. So obviously this, and then once they die, they just like throw them in the basement and go and get more undocumented workers. So obviously this resonates given the current climate, but it's also pretty amazing that they managed to make like a white suburban couple, conventionally the least threatening characters in any horror movie, as these terrifying killers.
Well, they are terrifying.
Yeah.
I literally walked down the wrong street one day, and then all of a sudden I was just in suburbia. Like the city just disappeared, and there were all these scary old white people gardening, and they were staring at me because I was wearing a cut-off Dead Kennedy shirt, and yeah.
Well, imagine those people with shotguns and an electrified fence.
They probably already do.
Forcing you to complete the guest house, or they'll kill you.
That sounds like something they'd do.
Lynn Collins is very impressive as like the sadomasochistic, mouse squashing, eyeball gouging brains behind the operation. It was really well done and really, like I said, like a twist on the protagonist. And in a related film, I thought I watched one that was called Intruders from 2015. And so this was a really intense kind of tables-turning home invasion film about a, again, seemingly harmless woman with severe agoraphobia. That's, of course, Stace, when you're afraid to leave the house.
Right.
Whose house is broken into by a
telling me that?
by a trio of it's just the audience.
Okay.
I didn't mean you specifically.
Okay, thank you.
Whose house is broken into by a trio of thugs looking for money that she's got stashed. Little do they know that she's got a crazy hidden basement set up just for this kind of situation, and they soon find themselves trapped in her web. Turns out she's got some serious issues that go way beyond agoraphobia. Again, with the tables turned on the protagonist and the antagonist, because you get these 3 thugs who in the beginning you are worried that they're gonna harm this woman who's afraid to leave the house, and then 180 degrees.
Wow. It's kind of like People Under the Stairs, right?
Right. The house is great. It's like this wonder of dust and clutter. The bad guys are suitably vicious, and they're all grease stained. They're all covered in dirt, including Martin Starr Stace from Freaks and Geeks,
right,
and Silicon Valley, who usually plays a harmless geeky guy.
Or like he's always kind of sarcastic and mean too.
Right, but he's a brutal killer in this one. So I thought that was really interesting twist on things. I saw a movie called Numb from 2015 that I really enjoyed. 4 desperate characters find out that there's $4 million in gold coins buried in the woods, so they head out to find it. The twist is that it's the middle of the winter in Canada, so it's almost certain death for all of them. So all the things that would happen when 4 people who don't really know or trust each other go out looking for gold in the middle of the woods happen, but compounded with the fact that they're dealing with blizzard conditions in the middle of Canada.
Yeah.
So really solid survival horror, which I like. It's one of my favorite kinds of horror. And then the other 2 real quick. The Rental, which is brand new and was directed by Dave Franco, brother of James Franco. For Unlikable. By the way, why do so many young filmmakers make films full of unlikable young people? I feel like
it's very easy. Have you ever seen Class of 1984?
Well, I mean, that's like a rare. Go ahead. Explain what you mean, really.
I mean, it's like older the young people can be very unlikable.
That's
I'll say
true.
that much.
But in many films in the 80s, there was, even in slasher films, one of the things, the reasons the slasher films worked is that they would make really likable characters that you didn't want to die. And they would figure out how to do it really quickly. Like really quick character study.
Yeah, so you would be sort of invested in these people so
Right.
that you actually cared about what happened to them. And a lot of the newer movies, you don't care what happens to any
Right.
of these people.
It's
So
just-
it's not as an enjoyable experience to watch it because you're not invested in anybody.
It just seems to be sort of a trend lately with younger filmmakers who make films about younger people, and they make unlikable characters throughout the film who are also young people. I feel like it's a self-loathing issue among millennials.
Could be some pretentious metaphor also. I don't know.
So anyway, these four young people, including Alison Brie of what's the wrestling show? Glow.
Right.
And she was in Community before that.
Right.
They rent an Airbnb in the woods and find out that someone is filming them, like in the shower and stuff, which is and in the hot tub and all that, which is a problem for two of them because they are cheating on the other two.
Wow.
And then, and the film slowly and steadily sets it up so that you think it's the caretaker, played by the guy, and this is only going to help Stacy, who used to do the Frank Sinatra impression on MTV in the 90s. You remember that guy, Stacy?
Oh, yeah.
He's the guy, he's the caretaker. But then he is suddenly, and this is not a spoiler because it's halfway through, he is suddenly whacked by an unknown killer. So it's not him. And that's when things really go off the rails. It's a really slow burn for sure, but it's well acted, well shot, and the last half hour has some serious pulse-pounding moments. But again, would be greatly aided by characters that you actually like. So, young people making movies, let's make some likable characters, shall we?
Yeah.
And really try to work on that. And maybe the Zoomers are like more likable in general, I think. So you'll do a good job. And finally, Girls Against Boys from 2012. I just watched it last night. Really stylish and enjoyable, over-the-top rape revenge flick that leans very, very heavily onto the revenge part. I mean, super heavy on the revenge part. So I like that one a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. And those are what I've seen. Kelly, how about you? What have you seen this week?
I've seen a bunch of movies. I watched, I'm not going to really talk about this one, but I did watch that Level 16 movie that you reviewed last week, and I would also recommend it.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Yep.
But this week, one of the days that was like 90-something degrees,
yeah,
our fucking internet went down.
Oof.
And we only have an AC in our bedroom. And so I'm trying to get the PlayStation to work in there, and it wasn't compatible with the TV. So I'm like, this is a fucking nightmare. I can't do anything. So we had to dust off the old VHS and bring that bad boy out. So one of the movies that I have on VHS is Warlock.
Nice.
So we watched that. I mean, this is a movie that I watched a lot as a kid. I loved this movie, but Jared had never seen it. So for those of you that don't know about this movie, Warlock is it was filmed in 1989 and released in 91. It's a horror fantasy directed by Steve Miner. He also did Friday the 13th 2 and 3, House, Halloween H2O. It stars Julian Sands, who was in a bunch of stuff, but he was in 1992 Tale of the Vampire. You remember that one?
Sure.
The premise is it's a warlock that escapes execution in the 1600s by traveling through time to the 20th century. He is followed by a witch hunter that is out to exact his revenge for the warlock killing his wife, which they don't really say how. The warlock is in search for 3 pieces of a book called the Grand Grimoire, which is this book that if it's combined, it can uncreate all of creation. So it's evil, and
sure,
the witch hunter is out to stop him. The witch hunter hooks up with this woman who comes across the warlock in the beginning of the movie, and the warlock curses her to age 20 years a day by taking her bracelet. So she now wants to get her bracelet back so she can reverse the aging. So she teams up with the witch hunter, and they go on a journey to destroy him.
Fantastic.
It's a fucking great movie. I thought, like, I had watched it so much when I was a kid, but rewatching it as an adult, you know how that can sometimes happen where you're like, oh man, this movie is absolute fucking garbage.
Yeah.
It really holds up.
That's
the
awesome.
first one, I was so excited about watching the first one and how awesome it was that I went out and I bought the collection of the first 3. Well, I didn't go out. I ordered it online, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I bought the collection on Blu-ray of Warlock 1, 2, and 3. I only got to the second one, and let me tell you,
Yep.
it is a piece of shit.
Sorry, buddy.
And I remember loving it as a kid, but Jesus Christ. Warlock Armageddon
Yeah.
is from 1993, directed by Anthony Hickox. I don't know.
Yeah, he's the guy that
Can't
made
remember.
Waxworks.
Yeah, Waxworks 1 and 2 and Hellraiser 3. Also Knife Edge. Haven't seen that one. The best part of the movie is right in the beginning because the Warlock comes back by being birthed through a hot witch.
Oh,
so
nice.
that scene is
fun.
incredible.
That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. He birthed and then turns into a adult human after he's birthed. Which the whole premise of the second one is kind of similar to the first one, where he's now on a hunt for a set of runes that he can use to do something evil with. But that part's okay, and his kills in it are pretty good. But there's this whole weird backstory with this group of druids that is out to stop him, and I think that just gets pretty corny to me. But if you like the first one and you like Julian Sands' character as the Warlock, I would check it out.
Awesome.
The other movie that I watched was 2019 horror comedy The Dead Don't Die, directed by Jim Jarmusch,
right?
Who did Coffee and Cigarettes and Ghost Dog. So it's a zombie movie, and let's be honest, zombie movies are not my favorite. There are way too many of them. Even zombie comedy movies, there's a shit ton of those too. Takes place in small town of Centerville. The dead start to come back to life. Something to do with polar fracking and knocking the earth on a different part of its axis or something, and it makes all these people come back to life, and they're zombies. It was okay. I thought this was okay. I thought it was pretty good for a zombie movie that was also a comedy, because it was the humor was pretty dry, which I liked, and it was very slow going, which is weird to see with a zombie movie.
Right.
I felt.
Yep.
The cast was great. I mean, it sounds a lot better on paper than it actually is. It has Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Chloe Sevigny, Tom Waits as Hermit Bob, Steve Buscemi's in it, Danny Glover, RZA from Wu-Tang.
Iggy Pop is in it?
Iggy Pop is in it as a zombie,
Yeah.
and I said to Jared, they didn't even have to do any makeup on him. It just looks like Iggy Pop walking around.
Yeah.
Tilda Swanson's in it, Selena Gomez. It's just I don't know. I just there was some weird shit that happened towards the end, and I was like, you had me right up until this.
Yeah, it just felt like wasted potential. I mean, you with that
did.
cast. Yeah. Yeah, Stacey and I saw it in the theater, and we were just kind of eh.
And I was actually into it for the first 3/4 of the movie. I was like, okay, this is slow and this is different, but I like it, And then they just did some weird shit that I was like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, check it out if you like that cast. That's it.
Well, there you go, everybody. That's what we've seen this week. We're going to skip past Best Kill of the Week for right now, because I know Rui's got to get to work soon, and I want to talk about this week's Group Watch, so we'll get right to it. This week's Group Watch is 2019's Homewrecker. It was directed by Zach Gain. It's his first feature. It stars Precious Chong as Linda. Turns out Precious Chong is Tommy Chong's daughter. Is that correct, Kelly?
Yes,
Kelly
I remember. I
Brookings.
thought it was his second wife at
Yeah.
first. Yeah, it's his daughter.
Yeah, we worked it all out. How great is that name, by the way? Precious Chong. I love every part of it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
In a good way.
It throws you off, definitely. She doesn't look. She doesn't look like her name would be Precious Chong. There's an episode of Seinfeld where he's on the phone. He like a phone line gets crossed with a woman named Donna Chang, and they hit it off, and he goes on a date with her, And she shows up, and she's a white lady, and he's like, "What the hell?" And she's like, "I don't know. My name's Donna Chang. It's the same thing. Her name's Precious Chong. Just fucking deal with it." Also, Alex Esso as Michelle. Esso, you may remember from the 2014 film Starry Eyes, which is the best film I ever saw based on the name of a Motley Crue song. Here's the summary of the film, care of IMDb. Michelle is in her early 30s. Linda is in her late 40s. Michelle is an interior designer and newlywed to Robert. Linda lives alone. She fills her days with painting and exercise classes. Seeking a new friend, Linda pursues Michelle after one of their classes together, insisting the young designer come over to assess Linda's self-described dump. Played out as an attempt to cheer Michelle up about her doubts on marriage, Linda, rippling with an undercurrent of startling jealousy and delusion, begins an intricate game of cat and mouse between her and the younger woman, a woman she doesn't intend to let go of anytime soon. So that's the basic premise. These two people are in, and it's interesting. The younger woman, Michelle, there's a montage in the beginning. Linda is in every class with her, and she never even notices her. She's in, dance class, and she goes to the same gym, and she goes to yoga with her, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she meets up with her at the coffee shop, and things escalate from there. I would like to point out, by the way, that the three fundamentals, as far as I can tell, of good mental and physical health are exercise, water, and friendship. And this movie, if you have those three things, you're going to be fine. And this movie is essentially about a lonely 50-year-old woman who does not have any friends or real connections in the world. And that's something that people really do struggle with. If you're 50 years old and you don't have kids, you're out of that club. So what do? You take all these classes. And she finds that the younger people barely notice that she's there. So when she does accost Michelle at the coffee shop, it really does feel like desperate loneliness is all that's really going on with her. She just wants somebody to hang out with.
I don't know if because I have this magic that Jessica hates, because as soon as I see a movie, I know what's going to happen, and I tell her and I spoil it for her, because most of the times I'm right.
We know you spoil.
I know. So don't do that now if that's what you're about to do.
No, but I thought it was so clear that they were taking a lot of classes in the same places.
Yeah.
And he has seen her before in so many places. And I told this, that's not anything that is casual. It's on purpose. This lady is taking all of these classes and following this girl for a reason, which I was right.
I think you kind of get that gist, though. I mean,
that she's following her around, but you just don't know why. Maybe she just really does want to hang out with her.
Yeah, in fact, that's what you feel like.
In fact, she, even when things are escalating out of control, she does say that at some point. It's like, I just really wanted to hang out with you, which on one level was really just true, Yeah. I did. By the way, I did like Precious Chong's her character Linda's style in that coffee shop scene. I kind of want to do that to I kind of want to do that myself. Just go to a coffee shop.
Wait, what was she wearing?
No, not her fashion style. Just going in and going, hey, let's hang out. I'm gonna sit down and talk to you. Really,
it might be a little harder as a man for you to get away with doing that, unless you were doing it to another man. If you try to do that to a woman, and it doesn't fucking work.
I can't do. It's not gonna work to another. But I could do it to a dude. I just like, hey, let's talk.
So intrusive.
I know. It was fun. I liked it.
Oh my God.
Well, the thing too is that Michelle is not very assertive either. She's like, oh.
Right. So I thought it was this film was written by the director and Precious and Alex together. They all wrote the story together, and I think that they were able to meld the different vibes of the different generations together to make a story that I think was very accurate about the way people in these age ranges would actually act in this sort of situation, because younger people do tend to be less confrontational and more avoidant. I learned this by playing Battleship with Kelly. Because we were playing Battleship together, and she's like, this game is too aggressive for me. Yeah, millennials don't like this kind of thing. We like to play stuff We like to play board games where we're on the same side.
Yeah, cooperative games, man.
Yeah,
We're
and
trying
I
to
was
like
like,
fight the man together.
I was like, really? I just want to sink your battleship, man.
I have played the game like maybe twice. I don't get it.
I just don't. I'm not very. I'm only competitive with like Monopoly for some reason. Other than that, I just like am not a competitive person. I just like want us both to come out on top. You know.
So she basically Linda basically forces herself, who's a little older, forces herself on her. Says, "Come to my place, check it out. You know, you're an interior designer. Maybe we can get some stuff going." But it's obvious as soon as she gets there, she just wants to hang out. She just wants her to hang out with her. And she's desperately, the younger woman is desperately trying to get out of there. I'll play a clip from what I think is a really fun part, which is when she locks her in a room for a little bit, and then she tells her she'll let her out if they play a board game together.
Oh, that sounds like me at 50.
Yeah, exactly. This is I was like, this is 52-year-old Kelly. It's great. But here she is. The name of the game that they play was called Party Hunks.
I loved playing board games when I was a kid. I kept them all. This one is my absolute favorite. It's called Party Hunks. Now, the object of the game in Party Hunks is to get to the party with as many hunks as possible without your dad calling you a slut.
Oh my god,
that's Party Hunks.
I told Ken I would definitely play that game.
What was the name of the hunk that it was hers and nobody else could like?
Yeah, Chad was her hunk. You couldn't.
That fucking actor did such an amazing job.
She really did.
How do you say it?
Precious
Chong.
Yep.
She really nailed that role. It was like she was born to play that character.
She was so good at being both pathetic and sympathetic and menacing all at once.
Yeah.
She did an incredible job at it.
I was telling Jessica, like at the end of the movie, I usually when I start watching the movies, I go on Google and I research the movie and I spoil it for myself, but I'm not doing that on the movies that we're supposed to watch together.
Yeah.
So
Wait, when you're watching it, you do that?
Before she watches it,
like
she spoils
sometimes
it.
when I'm watching a movie, but no, I'm not doing that for any of the ones that we're like watching for the podcast. I'm doing that for like other movies, right? I get desperate, like I need to see what's gonna happen, right? But I didn't do it for this one. And at the end of the movie, I told Jess, I think this movie was Canadian.
It was.
And then she Googled it and she's like, how you figure it out it was Canadian? I'm like, first of all, the houses were different, and mostly the board game, because there was a board game in the 80s called Dateline, and it was very similar to this one, but instead of like a TV, it was like a recording thing, and you will call the guys on the recording thing on the phone. So I think they were mocking, and usually when they're trying to do this Canadian versus US thing, always the Canadian thing is like a really crappy imitation of the US thing.
Yeah.
And that's
like
how
Dream Phone?
It was Canadian because the board game was so crappy and the video of the movie was so awful. I'm like, this is a Canadian movie, but I'm gonna like let it go and find out at the end.
Both of those are just riffs on Mystery Date.
Mystery Date, yeah, exactly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which was a popular game in the 60s and 70s.
I have a very old version of Mystery Date.
Ooh.
All right, hey, I know you got to go, Rui, so why don't you just tell us what you thought about the movie, and then you can skedaddle.
I liked it. You know, it was, you know, it kind of like you could kind of see yourself in both characters. And
Sure.
we've both been in situations where we're on either side of that, you know. So yeah, she was pretty sympathetic despite what she did. So I'd recommend it. Yeah.
Thank you. There you go. All right, now get out of here and go sell some cheese, buddy.
All right, we'll see you guys.
All right, bye, Rui.
Bye, Rui.
Rui's go. By the way, if you're out and about on Saturday or Sunday in Somerville, Massachusetts, go down to the Armory Cafe, and that kid, Rui, the 16-year-old intern, will sell you some coffee or some cheese. Or maybe make you a sandwich. I don't know. Are you making sandwiches too? Is he gone? All right.
He's gone.
He used to make sandwiches too. All right, so.
If you come over to my house and play a board game with me, I'll make you a sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he also and then Linda also made Michelle watch Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Yeah.
From 1985.
I love that movie.
Do you like? It's
not one of my my favorite 80s movies, though.
Yeah, it's not.
I have to say.
On VHS, on one of those tiny combos,
on
like
a tube TV.
Yeah. So she goes through all this to try to get to know her a little better, and then there's a twist, 3/4 of the way through, which when I initially saw it, I did not see coming at all.
I did.
Stacy figured it out like 5 minutes before it happened. Did you, Kelly? Did you figure out what the twist was?
I figured it out. I figured it out. No, I didn't. I thought maybe I knew what was going on, but I was like, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. So maybe.
I did.
Alyssa figured it out.
I figured it out before 5 minutes, but I just didn't say anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured it out really quick. Once she's like making all of these excuses, like she saw her in so many places.
Yeah.
And she brings her to the house, and then she says like what she said of like dating someone, but it was unavailable. And the way she looked at him, like, oh, I know where this is going. I didn't say anything, but I knew exactly what was gonna happen.
It was very fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, so essentially, what the whole first 3/4 of the film is just a lesson in uncomfortable, tense situations, and I think Rui is right. You do, on the one hand, you can see both sides. You can see Michelle really wanting to get out of this, but you can also understand where Linda's coming from too. So I think they did a really great job about it. And then when the twist comes in, and again, I don't want to give anything away, but in many situations there's a dude involved, right? And then so at the end of the day, I think it really makes you question two things to me. I feel like I feel like women need to be more supportive of each other in general in this world, right?
Yes.
For sure.
100%. I think that was the message.
I do too. And I think that and the other thing is that I think it's very easy, to throw around, to call women crazy, to call women psycho. That it's just something that falls off the tongue really easily. It's been ingrained in our culture. And you go, well, if they're acting irrationally, why is that? What causes that? Right? And it's usually a man that's causing this fucking behavior. So who's really the psycho?
Men.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think what happens is this movie talks about some important things, but does it in a sometimes funny and sometimes uncomfortable way. I mean, there's a lot for basically just a low budget horror comedy. I feel like it says a lot of good and important things.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I feel like I also really agree with what Rui said about seeing yourself in both characters, because I feel like if someone confronted me and wanted me to hang out with them, I don't think I'd be able to say no.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
'Cause I just would be so afraid of hurting someone's feelings.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be bad because you're sacrificing your own comfort for someone else. And then I also could see myself as her, like, not that I think when I'm, in my 50s, I'm going to be lonely, because I think I have a good group of people around me that I've had around me for a long time. But I felt so bad for her and thinking, like, she just wants someone to play fucking party hunks with her.
Exactly.
Talk about boys.
Right.
And I get it, And it was really sad. And I really liked both their characters. I thought they did such a good job. I loved the fighting scenes, because they were just so over the top and ridiculous.
Right.
But you're right. The first 3/4 of the movie is just very uncomfortable. Like, I just was like, the whole time. I was like shouting a lot when I was watching this because I was so uncomfortable.
And that wouldn't work if on some level Linda wasn't a sympathetic character.
Yeah,
and she was a sympathetic character. And that's what I'm saying is
crazy guys.
friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Friendship is very important. So you gotta figure out how to have at least a couple, because if you don't, you may end up like Linda, who, by the way, otherwise seemed kind of fun. She was a little mean on the street, but again, that might have been her trying to fit in. I don't know, but
yeah.
But
Oh my god, when she called that mom with the baby cunt,
yeah,
just passing my head like, what the heck is wrong with her?
I think she was trying to look cool to
Yeah.
like the 20-something-year-olds. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah, but we don't like Kelly. I bet that neither do I. I don't think Stacy does that. Like walking around seeing people like, it's like who
Thanks.
does that? No,
Yeah, I mean, we would be
no.
uncomfortable. Maybe if we were teenagers, we'd be like, yeah, that's so cool. Call that lady a cunt.
Right.
But like when you're older, you're like,
Yeah.
that's so cringy.
Yeah.
And also, but the and I thought that it was interesting that of the two characters, Linda, who is obviously seems unhinged, was also the more interesting person. Michelle seemed very bland, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they even made her look. She's like plain Jane looking, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except she's still in the eyes of I can't really talk too much about, obviously without spoiling anything, but she's still the ideal, right? Because she's younger and attractive and can have children, you know, and all this kind of stuff. So she's still the ideal, even though in comparison she's kind of dishwater.
I kind of found her to be awful.
To the
Yeah.
Right, she's awful, but she's also attractive.
Yeah.
Did you not find that she was attractive? I mean,
she's okay.
Yeah, I mean, she looks like a lot of other women. Like
Yeah.
she
Yeah,
wasn't.
exactly,
There
she
wasn't anything
does.
distinguishable about her. Like if you took her and lined her up with a bunch of other brunettes
Right,
that
that's
looked
true.
just like her, they all
Yeah.
look the same.
But in comparison to the older woman who's very colorful and
Right.
is like into all kinds of, you know, weird stuff, you know. Anyway,
It makes sense. It makes sense with her acting like that on the street, though, because she wasn't just trying to act like a 20-something-year-old. She was acting like a teenager
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she then told you that she was really popular when she was in
Right.
high school and had a lot of friends.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that whole let's talk about boys, let's play board games, let's, you know, call people cunts on the street was just her acting like a teenager.
and that probably, and given her age, which is the same age as Stacey and I, in the 80s, that probably would have worked, Stace. Being a mean blonde girl,
I was not. No.
calling people cunts.
There were plenty of them. I was not.
I know you weren't one of them. I'm saying that
Stacey,
probably
I hope
worked.
not. No, I can't see Stacy as a mean blonde girl in the
No.
80s.
No.
Maybe a nice blonde girl.
She was
I wasn't even blonde.
She was a nice redhead in the 80s.
Aw.
All right, let's do it, everybody. Let's say what we thought. Stacey, what did you think about the movie Homewrecker?
I thought that I liked it. I thought the acting was really good. I thought it was definitely a lot of cringy stuff in it. I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it. It definitely like we were talking about earlier, where sometimes a lot of these newer movies you don't care about the characters. I think in this movie they do make you care about the characters. So I give it a ding.
Okay, good. Although you did say it was very stressful while we were watching.
It was stressful, that's for sure.
All
Don't
right.
watch it if you're in an already stressed out mood.
All right, Larsa, what did you think?
I like it. It's been better than other things I have seen before. So yeah, I will give it a ding.
Okay, she's going to give it a ding. All right, Kelly, what did you think?
I loved it. I give it 2 dings.
Oh my God, 2 dings.
Oh, 2 dings.
Can we do
I
that?
love this movie.
let's see
I
if we
would
can-
watch this again for sure. It was fun. It was
Oh,
fun.
we can do that.
It was stressful, but it was fun too.
Yeah,
And there was some good gore in it.
that's
You
true.
know, for what they did have.
Oh, yeah.
It was good.
Yeah,
It was realistic in
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
It wasn't like over the top and crazy.
Yeah,
I think after that part, when like at the end, I think when the actress playing Michelle strive in her acting, because she looks so distressed, and then I believed her. Because
Yeah.
in the beginning, I didn't think she was such a good actress, but in the end, yeah, she sold it to me. That
Well, I
part
think her character transformed through the movie. You know what I mean?
Oh
yeah.
and it you know, even it was interesting because people in movies, when they're especially when they're in dangerous situations, the acting tends to get over the top, and she was still herself through the whole thing. Like, she was still trying to be reasonable and polite. And again, this might go back to being, there might be a taste of Canada in that. too. But even under threat of death, she was still pretty reasonable and polite about all the things. Because she was like, look, I know that there's something wrong with you and you're having some kind of breakdown or whatever, and I'm sorry about that, but I just want to go. And this is under threat of death, you know. Usually people are screaming and going bananas in these situations. So, anyway, it's a great film. And I think everybody should check it out. It's on Amazon now. We're going to circle back, Stace, if we may, before we leave.
Okay.
And get to the best kill of the week.
Okay.
All right, you ready to do that?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Hang on.
Yep, here we go.
That is gross.
All right, everybody, it's time for the best kill of the week. That means the best murder that we've seen in a horror movie this week. All right, Stacy, you saw a couple horror movies this week. What was the best kill? Yep.
I don't think any of them had anything really great. I don't know. Like in the Stalker Club didn't have anything that was that. It was very generic in that way.
Okay.
There was nothing really outrageous.
The doctor didn't kill anybody?
No.
Okay. All right, Stacey, you have failed best kill of the week.
Sorry.
Larsa, what was the best kill of the week?
Yeah, all the killings this week were like pretty much even.
Okay.
So if I was gonna pick one,
Yeah.
I really like the one in Sorority Girls that the kind of like zombie itch like smashes the face of the guy in like the kitchen like cooking top.
Oh yeah, it was good.
And fry it there. I think that was a good. I like that one. I like that one.
Okay, excellent. All right, Kelly, how about you?
My kill of the week was in Warlock 2. Believe it or not, there's like a scene. I think it's like a little sideshow kind of thing that's going on. And when I was a kid, I remember this character being played by Zelda Rubinstein, but it is not Zelda Rubinstein. It's actually the actor that I don't know his name, but he played Alf. Anyways, he's like,
okay.
I think he's playing this little psychic woman, and the Warlock grabs him or her and throws him in an Iron Maiden and closes it.
Wow.
And so, that was pretty cool.
And you know what? That kind of blows my mind because I always thought Alf was like a Muppet. I didn't know there was a guy inside there.
There's a guy inside there.
Holy
a little
smokes.
guy.
My mind
He's
is blown.
passed now, but he was 2'9".
That's incredible. Stacey, did you know that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really
You didn't
think
really
about it.
Well, he was in there.
For me, in Girls Against Boys, there's a scene at a Halloween party. And
You love those.
And Lulu, who is the revenge girl, she shows up dressed as a samurai. And she runs into her friend Shay, who is the other revenge girl's new boyfriend, who is dressed like a pirate. And so she pulls out her sword, and he thinks they're going to have a pretend sword fight. So he pulls out his sword, but of course he has a plastic sword because it's a Halloween party, and you wouldn't bring a real sword to a Halloween party. And then hers is real, so he thinks they're having a pretend fight, and she just goes ahead and chops his arms off. Nice. Kelly, you've been to a lot of Halloween parties. Have you ever seen this kind of thing before?
I've seen people bring real weapons, but I've never seen someone chop someone's arms off.
Okay.
Yet.
Okay. All right. That would make a hell
Maybe
of a
next
party.
year.
Yeah. You never know what's going to happen. I forgot to ask you, by the way, how Salem, the movie Homewrecker is.
I don't know if it's very Salem. It's maybe a 2. It's very Canadian.
Yeah, it's more
Gets
Canadian.
a 10 for Canadian.
Yeah, it's more Canadian than Salem, for sure. All right, we got to go, but before that, we'll get to the plugs.
Plugs.
We got to plug, Stace.
Snapchat, Instagram story, ooh, selfie, me.
Exactly, the plugs. We got to get to them. Go to our YouTube page to see our TV show, youtube.com/Heavy Leather Horror Show. I'm going to start, we're working on a trailer show, Stace.
Yep.
Every week we're going to do a little video show where we show you the new horror trailers. So look out for that soon. You can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Heavy Leather Horror Show for news updates and fun. And we used to do a show called Heavy Leather Topless Dance Party. You can find that at heavyleatherforever.com. Also, we are part of the Companeros Radio Network. Go Companeros is their site. You can check us out there. Also, Movie Melt, Songs on Trial, and Get Soft with Dr. Snuggles. And if you listen to the latest episode of Get Soft with Dr. Snuggles, Kelly and I we're guest starred on that. So check that out. So that's plugs from us. How about you, Larsa? You always get some Survivor stuff happening. What do you got?
So this week I have nothing related to Survivor, but I will always be on my newsfeed on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram making fun of all the Karens and all of the weird people out there.
Fantastic.
I got some stuff.
Okay. By the way, but before you get there, Larsa, will we ever see the return of your old podcast, Les Chat?
Maybe. I don't know. We are talking about it because, I mean, there's nothing else to do right now. So, but I don't know if we're gonna do only gay shit talking.
Okay.
Maybe we'll update it and do something different.
In the beginning,
I love gay shit talking though.
I know, but we were just talking shit. It was just me and Jess. Have you listened? It was just me and Jess having stupid conversations, and we put a podcast on, and some people listened to it, and we made $1 because it wasn't that app that if you put commercials, they give you some money for it. So we made $1 or something.
Wow! All right.
Yeah.
So maybe you can make another $1.
Maybe.
It's not easy making dollars these days.
No, let me see. Now that you mention it, let me check how much money you have.
Yeah, maybe you've made more than $1. Maybe you've made several dollars.
Oh my God, it's been so long that it's asking me for the login.
All right, Kelly, what do you got?
I have, first, on this coming Tuesday, they're playing Friday the 13th at Topsfield Fairgrounds because they're not doing the Topsfield Fair anymore.
Right.
So they set it up like a drive-in.
So the original.
The original
okay.
Friday the 13th will be playing.
Is it a double feature with something else, or is it
just the one?
Okay.
$8.45. It's $27 per car, which, I mean, if you get a couple of people in your car, it's not that bad.
Yep.
That and this coming Friday is the Baphomet's Summerween Part 3. This is the third year in a row that they have done this. I highly recommend this. It is my favorite show that they put on. It's all spooky, scary, horror related. Because of the pandemic, they'll be doing it on Zoom, which is still an amazing show. I've watched one of their performances on Zoom. So basically, you can go to their Instagram, Baphomet's, or check them out on Facebook. They have instructions on how to get the Zoom link. It's if you donate $5 or more to the Portland Bail Funds, then you get the link. And Die With Your Boots On has teamed up, and they're doing a fundraiser for a $100 gift card if you donate money.
Fantastic.
So that's this Friday.
Beautiful. Stacy, you have anything?
Nope.
Larsa, did you find out how much money you made?
No, I can't log in.
All
God
right,
damn it.
Well, we'll find out next week, Stace. Everybody, next week we're gonna find out. So hold on to your hats. We'll find out exactly how much money Larsa has made from the Les Chat podcast. That'll be something to look forward to. Thank you for listening, everybody, and until next time, stay spooky.
Ooh.
We gotta get out of here.